Now call upon the headmaster to reply to that toast.
Well, Dennis, ladies and gentlemen, I'm genuinely pleased to be able to join you on this wonderful evening. My main task this evening is to give a very short update on two aspects of school life that Dennis has spoken so lovingly about, the classics and his cricket, the second 11 in particular.
Yes, indeed.
Dennis, in addition to being an inspirational classics master, it is undoubtedly down to you that we still enjoy the reputation for being one of the leading classics schools in the country. And that harks back to the time when you were at school, and the great work is still continuing. You'll be pleased to know that the classics department is in very confident mood, with strong numbers of students taking classics at every level. In the next academic year, starting in September, 86 students will be taking GCSE, a GCSE in a classical subject. That is very close to half of the year group. But the department doesn't just appeal to students who wish to broaden their horizons as a complement to their other academic studies. It also nurtures the enthusiasm and interest of pupils who have a passion for the subject and who want to study it at university. This September, 6 students will pursue their interest in classics at university, 4 of them to read Latin and or Greek. As well as enriching the lives of these pupils, the school, of course, is greatly enriched by their presence. Pupils have been encouraged to develop their interest in the classical world through the activities of the Senior Classics Society, the highlight of which was an address by Peter Jones on the subject of Homeric women. Pupils also enjoyed a symposium, a Greek symposium, served, the head of classics was at pains to point out, with grape juice as opposed to the usual. There was also an eye-watering production of Lysistrata, featuring swords instead of phalluses. I think the play was set in Napoleonic times, and the phalluses, of course, would have been superfluous to requirements, which in fact is all part of the plot of Lysistrata anyway.
Yes, indeed.
Junior pupils enjoyed a Toast and Translation Club, which will launch with great success earlier in the year. This is an activity in school for the younger pupils, combining the ever-popular combination of intellectual endeavour and tasty snacks. Unfortunately, on a day widely known as Dies Horribilis, one of our newest teachers of Latin failed to retrieve a muffin that became wedged in the newly acquired and perhaps illegal classics department toaster. The alarm bells wailed and a stream of anxious pupils and staff fled the buildings in dutiful and orderly silence, of course. It was very easy to see who was responsible because of the glowing red and embarrassed face that could be seen by aeroplanes landing in Stansted. For weeks afterwards, the smell of burnt bread pervaded the Cunliffe building. I'm reliably informed that the department is considering a less inflammatory programme of activities next year. The second 11 cricket team is also thriving under the leadership of Mr. Hardy and Dr. Tiffin, who's also head of biology. I understand that the trip to Framlingham this year was not quite as exciting as times past when Dennis was in charge. Yeah. From a pupil perspective, the boys were always delighted to play away at Framlingham. The first 11, of course, would start their game early at 11:30, while the second 11 sought shade and sustenance in various local hostelries, making sure that, as per instruction, they should not impinge on Mr. Riddiford's hostelry. After a late start, some marvellous cricket and an early finish, the same routine applied to the second 11 boys until the coach was ready to leave. On another occasion, reported gleefully to me, Dennis got off the coach at Framlingham, and informed their master that he had an important telephone call to make. Dennis was shown straight into the headmaster's study, who must have been astonished to hear him place his bet on the 2.15 at Newport.
Had to get on.
The second 11 is still flourishing. We have, when term time dates agree, we still play against Framingham, Bishop Stortford, Eltham College, St Edwards, Chigwell and Bancross. We enjoy many more successes than defeats, and there's still a mix of fifth formers and sixth formers who found their own natural level. It's always enjoyed and played in very good competitive spirit. We also played the odd 20-20 match against Shenfield School and hope to encourage a few other local schools to get involved. The difference nowadays, of course, is that the second 11 we always play overs matches, and the art of declaration and having to bowl out the opposition has sadly now gone. First 11 cricket and other sport continues to thrive. This year, 3 boys have played for the England under-16 cricket team and 1 for the under-16 football team. We have numerous GB fencers, 3 former pupils training at the school for the Olympic Games next year. We won the public schools fencing again this year, and we've been delighted to have been selected as an Olympic training venue for the modern pentathlon. That's only the running, swimming, fencing and shooting components. In athletics, our junior girls team came second in the country, and this year we're very pleased to be hosting all of the major ladies' international cricket teams in their warm-up matches before their big international tournament later on in the summer. We played against the England ladies team last year, and they astonished all of us with their phenomenal skill, their commitment, their drive, and of course by the fact that they beat our first 11. Academically, the improvement in exam results exceeds that of national grade inflation at both GCSE and A-level. And there have been some very important curriculum developments, including the introduction of the International Baccalaureate, the International GCSE in Science, a creative and critical thinking course, and the European Computer Driving Licence. All of this showing tremendous enterprise and a genuine focus on what our boys and girls need to thrive in this modern century. I know, Dennis, that you'd be delighted with the development of our ability at the school to open our doors more widely to an increasing number of pupils regardless of their family income.
Yeah.
Several old Brentwoods who've enjoyed the benefit of a Brentwood education when it was a direct grant school have also been excited by this and have made some generous contributions to our bursary fund to enable us to open our doors even more widely to more people. The more we're able to do this with your help and support, I've got no doubt the better the school will be. Finally this evening, I'd like to highlight the contribution of 2 other gentlemen here who are governors. One, of course, is our chairman, Colin Finch, who has enabled the school under his stewardship to thrive for the last 20 years. And the other is Richard Owers, this year's president of the Society of Old Brentwoods, with whom I'm working very closely towards much more inclusive arrangements to cater for the needs of all of our former pupils, young and old, far and near, and male and female. Without these gentlemen, without you, Dennis, and in fact without all of you here this evening, the school would not be in the enviable position that it finds itself in. There's no doubt that all of you are the giants on whose shoulders we are very fortunate to stand. As one of my predecessors, Edwin Bean, said before handing over to Mr. Huff, if you desire to belong to a school of which you may be justly proud, if you wish to hear of this school spoken of as one that bears a high name, a place where all that is unworthy is hated and despised, then remember that it rests with you to give it that name. In all of your lives and through your works, you have enhanced the reputation of this school, and I thank all of you for this. when I spoke to former headmaster John Evans on the phone this morning, he wanted me to pass on to you, Dennis, his respect and affection that both he and Vivian feel for you, both as a colleague and a friend, and also that he said you must be one of the greatest teachers that this school has ever seen. I can think of no better way to finish what I have to say this evening. Dennis, thank you for making this happen.
Thank you.